What is nuts about this dish is how easy it is to make after you have all the ingredients prepared. And what you get in return is a soup that is so deep in flavor. Hey there, soup lover. I'm glad to have you here in the Disco Kitchen in Paris. In this video, we're diving into a flavor-packed adventure, the one, the only, hot and sour soup. Originating from the heart of Chinese cuisine, this iconic dish boasts a rich history that stretches back for centuries. You can just imagine the bustling streets of ancient China where chefs concocted this symphony of flavors to please emperors and commoners alike. This soup, which is often served for breakfast, has many variations throughout the regions of China. From its humble beginnings to a global sensation, this soup has stood the test of time as a beloved comfort food. So let's indulge our senses in the blend of tastes that make hot and sour soup an enduring culinary delight. Now, before we get our hands dirty, let's check out the lineup of ingredients that we'll need to make our soup. You'll need shiitake mushrooms, or some other type of mushroom if you can't find that. And in fact, you could use dried shiitake mushrooms, reconstitute them, and then chop them up the same way, but they just need to be sliced. You'll need some protein. In this case, we're using shredded pork, but more on that later. Fresh carrot, fresh ginger, white pepper, chicken stock, tofu, soy sauce, and dark soy sauce if you can find it, salt, sugar, an egg, rice vinegar, sesame oil, sambal or some other kind of chili paste, green onion and cilantro, and cornstarch. All right, now let's make some magic, friends. Now we'll start with the protein. Add the cooked shredded pork to a small bowl with 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. And don't worry if you didn't get all the exact measurements. The complete recipe can be found at todaysnest.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. Then give it a quick toss and let that do its marinating magic while we prepare the rest. Next, we'll saute our veggies until they're sizzling and aromatic, like a vegetable party in a pan. We're using shiitake mushrooms here, but as I said earlier, they could be substituted with a different mushroom. The thing about shiitake mushrooms is that the flavor is unique and quite robust. Other mushrooms will work, but they'll have a less intense flavor. You smell that? That's the smell of joy. Next, we pour in our homemade stock. It's like liquid gold, infused with all the love and warmth you can imagine. If you don't have homemade chicken stock, not to worry. A store-bought chicken stock, not broth, will do the trick. Here we'll also add the soy sauce, dark soy sauce if you want more contrast. We'll hold off on the salt for now until we assemble the rest of the dish so we don't go overboard. Now, a quick aside about chicken stock. I have a secret love affair with it. In the US, it's easy to find chicken stock in the soup section of most supermarkets. Here in France, prepared chicken stock is not really a thing. You either use bouillon cubes or you make it yourself. For that reason, I often make big batches of it and put it in the freezer. Luckily, I also have a real freezer, which apparently is a luxury for most Europeans. If you want to make your own chicken stock, and why wouldn't you, you can find the recipe and everything that you'll need at todaysnest.com. I'll leave the description in the link below. And that one is a keeper. Not only do you have a staple on hand at all times, but you have control of the ingredients, and you can make it for next to nothing, even with your cooking scraps. And now, here comes the best part, the heat. It's time for the chili paste. I'm using sambal, which is essentially ground chili peppers, garlic, and a few other supporting characters, but it's not nearly as sweet as sriracha. You could equally use harissa or another chili paste here. Just be aware of your audience so you don't make it too spicy. I'm going to add about a teaspoon. And now we'll turn it down and just let it simmer for 15 minutes while we work on other things. While our soup is simmering away, let's talk about tofu, the unsung hero of this dish. There are 2 schools of thought about tofu in this dish. Soft tofu, shredded, has a melt-in-your-mouth feel, but it can muddy up the presentation. It's the tofu of choice for many, but I prefer to use firm tofu for this soup. When it's cubed, it adds a new dimension to the appearance and it doesn't compete with the shredded pork or other protein. And if you flash fry the cubes before you add them, you get an even deeper dimension in color. Now that our tofu is ready, it's time to bring everything together. We'll add it to the broth along with the shredded pork. But I know what some of you are going to say. I don't eat pork. Can I use something else? Or I don't eat meat. Do I have to use it at all? The pork could be replaced with shredded chicken or shrimp. Some people even use Spam. The choice is yours. Or indeed, nothing at all. After you add your proteins in a small bowl, stir together 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 3 tablespoons of cold water. Pour this slurry into the pot and stir to combine. This will help thicken the soup just a little and leave it rich and full of body. Let it heat just a bit to begin to thicken. Now our tofu's in, the protein's in, the thickener's in. It's time to bring everything together. The veggies, the spices, the proteins. It's like creating a perfect symphony of hot and sour. While the starch thickens, whisk 1 egg. Stir the soup in a circular motion and slowly drizzle the egg into the hot soup. This is going to create ribbons of cooked egg. For the thin ribbons, stir quickly. For thicker ribbons, slow down the stirring. Okay, we're almost there. At this point, add about 3/4 of the chopped onion and cilantro and reserve the rest for garnishing just before you serve. Then add the rice vinegar and 2 teaspoons of white pepper and immediately remove it from the heat. This will ensure that the integrity of the vinegar remains. Taste the soup for seasoning and add any salt as necessary. Finally, serve the soup with a small sprinkling of chopped green onion and cilantro. And just before serving, drizzle a small bit of sesame oil over the surface of the soup. This is essential and gives the dish an extra shine and depth of flavor. What is nuts about this dish is how easy it is to make after you have all the ingredients prepared. And what you get in return is a soup that is so deep in flavor and a blend of taste that just warm the soul. By making your own adjustments to the hot and sour elements, you arrive at a soup that can be a go-to for your comfort food cravings. That is such a delicious balance of flavor. It's like a spicy little bowl of joy. If you like this video, I hope you'll give us a gentle pouce en l'air and turn on those subscriptions and notifications so you don't miss anything new. And if you want us to create a specific recipe, or if you have a question about this one, leave us a comment below and we'll answer as many as we can. Thanks again for being in the Disco Kitchen. Until next time, remember to stay curious, stay hungry, and always lick the bowl. Ciao for now. Oh, ça c'est bon.